Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This time we're going to be looking at the history of the first motorway service station to open on the M6. This is known as Charnock Richard. Charnock Richard, Keele and Knutsford were all identified at the same time, forming part of the plans for the M6. An additional site at Broughton was held in reserve while problems with it were investigated. Charnock Richard was pushed through because the road through here would be opening first, making it the oldest service area on the M6 when it opened in July 1963. It had been hoped that Charnock Richard would wait long enough to collect feedback from Watford Gap and Newport Pagnell, but the priority was to have it open with the motorway, so everybody involved had to assume that the previous examples were working well. In planning, it was sometimes called Heskin Services. The demand for catering here was expected to be low and consideration was given to having it open and selling fuel only, but this was thought to be too big a risk with possible high levels of traffic heading for Blackpool. The minimum spend allowed in the plans was £100,000, which is the equivalent to 2 million today. Designs were encouraged to have restaurants on bridges, which was regarded by the inspectors as an efficient and impressive design. Quite obviously there were several tenders for these services, and the first one being Airborne Catering Limited. As was the case with many of their bids, Airborne Catering Limited produced a poor design, poor catering proposals, but a suspiciously promising financial offer. This design had everything on the bridge. What was interesting was this was the fifth service area Airborne had bid for, and each bid was bigger than the previous one. They had still failed to prove that they were a financially stable business, but continued to promise more. They were again pulled up for their lack of attention to detail. Their architect was Sydney Clough, Son and Partners, who designed Knutsford. Airborne would have used a brand new name if they had won, but they didn't. Next was the Kenning Motor Group. Buoyed by winning the tender for Streatham, here Kennings planned a restaurant and a cafe close to a footbridge with transport cafes further away by the lorry parks based closely on Streatham. Their financial offer was particularly poor. As a garage firm, it wasn't clear who would be responsible for catering, so that was that. Loxham's garage were next, and in their plan Loxham's had a restaurant and a cafe on the bridge with transport cafes further away. Again, their financial offer was poor, but they showed expert knowledge and were told they would make a good operator. Next up was